This is the Media Police Post, broadcasting from the Fort Hall School of Government. In this show, we police the state of truth in the Republic. And because truth is communicated to us by journalists and analysts, we have made it our civic duty to put it to the test. We advance from two confirmed truths about the media. One, and according to Roger Stone, the media is either lazy or evil. And for the most part, it is both evil and lazy. That is why the truth, their truth, must be put to a test.
And two, that journalism is verified gossip. In fact, what is presented to us as news analysis is gossip that has been verified by journalists. This gossip has to be ground truthed. We will assess the state of truth in what they submit to the Republic, and we will pass verdict on what is true and what is not. For the record, we are not journalists. We are thinkers. We are not lazy or evil, and we do not verify gossip. What we give you is the truth that sets you free.
On today's show, we will discuss ideas that reflect unformed and uninformed opinions, and ideas that made you stupid. Narratives that fell into the cognitive trap of we see things as we are, not as they are. Narratives based on conjecture history and those that smack of envelope journalism. Karibu Tuem and Ms. K.
Thank you. So today we want to announce to the nation that the long wait is over. Ruto has chosen a running mate, and that running mate is MUSALIA Mudavadi. If ANC has joined UDA, then MUSALIA Mudavadi will want the best thing Ruto has to offer, the position of running mate. But by choosing MUSALIA Mudavadi as his running mate, Ruto has triggered the politics of inverse proportions. This is a situation where a change in one political variable causes an inverse or opposite change in another political variable. Allow me to explain using two examples. Example one. With MUSALIA as Ruto's running mate, the question is begged. What will Ruto do with the Kikuyus? He needs the Kikuyus to become president. Fact. But by choosing a Luya as his running mate, he has dumped the Kikuyus. Fact. Using the politics of inverse proportions, if Ruto picks the Mulembe nation, he must lose the Gema nation.
Correct.
The strategic cost of giving Mudavadi the position of running mate is losing the Kikuyus, and the Kikuyu exodus from the Hasla nation has already begun. Example 2. Now that MUSALIA has picked a side, what happens to Oka? Specifically, what happens to Kalonzo Musyoka? This is because MUSALIA and Kalonzo are bound by the politics of inverse proportions. They are mutually exclusive. In this election, you cannot have MUSALIA Mudavadi and Kalonzo Musyoka on the same side. They are like oil and water. They cannot mix. If Mudavadi goes one way, Kalonzo will go the other. So if Mudavadi has gone left to UDA, then it follows that Kalonzo will go right to Azimio. And we hypothesize that Kalonzo will go to Azimio and become what Raila is today, a kingmaker without portfolio, but with a hope for the future. And that, it's not a bad thing. I must, however, ask one final question to William Ruto. Are you sure about your decision? Politically, MUSALIA Mudavadi was constructed as an appendage, an add-on, an accessory, like a handbag. He completes a political outfit, but he cannot stand on his own. That is what his presidential bid in 2013 taught us. Now, knowing this, why would you trade in over 5.6 million votes for just under 500,000 votes? What are you not telling us?
The 2022 election presents us with a Machiavellian moment. This is a moment in which the country is pregnant with promise, but there's no midwife. The midwife of the Machiavellian moment, as history has taught us, has to be unusual. The midwife of the Machiavellian moment in this election is none other than the misunderstood Uhuru Kenyatta. What if MUSALIA Mudavadi was sent to William Ruto by Uhuru Kenyatta and he did not know it? What if he was sent there to win back the Gema nation and both MUSALIA and Ruto did not see the ploy? The Machiavellian moment instructs us that for the most part, competitive politics is about inverse proportions. A gain on one side is a loss on the other side. I will explain this in a bit. In the meantime, I will give you some history. In 2013, Uhuru denied Raila 500,000 votes. How? He simply offered MUSALIA the presidency and waited for the submission of party coalition agreements deadline to expire. MUSALIA, excited by Uhuru's generosity, called the press and told them Uhuru had stepped down for him. Before he knew it, the deadline had expired and Uhuru had changed his mind. MUSALIA had to run alone. Question is, what if MUSALIA is now being used to separate Kikuyus from Ruto? What makes you think Uhuru cannot use Mudavadi again? Niccolo Machiavelli teaches us, never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. Mudavadi ametumwa. Now, we want to get into the mind of Uhuru Kenyatta. His Gema constituency was stolen by William Ruto. In fact, William Ruto told the public that he was the Gema kingpin. In 4 years, Jubilee had lost ground in central Kenya. How was Uhuru to regain this ground? He had to polarize options. He had to use the politics of inverse proportions. If William Ruto wins Musalia Mudavadi, he has no choice but to lose the stolen Gema constituency. And that was a simple plan. Mortgage Musalia Mudavadi to Ruto, ensure that he is the running mate to William Ruto. And then Anne Waiguru, who was promised a deputy presidency, is left at the altar crying a river. Dear Kikuyus, the 101 definition of politics is about who gets what, when, and how. Put simply, politics is about getting. If Musalia is Ruto's running mate, Kikuyus will get nothing. And by extension, Kikuyus will have to look for the person who understands that politics is about the authoritative allocation of resources. And that person is Azimio. If Kikuyus are not on the allocation table of UDA, they have no business with William Ruto. They must migrate. End of discussion.
So, Tuem, in other words, you're saying that in 2022, for Waiguru, it will end in tears.
Yes.
And William Ruto this year is the one who will cry Madimoni.
Yes, you'll say Madimoni.
Now, dear William Musalia Mudavadi.
Yes.
Bwana asifiwe. Dear sir, although you spoke so passionately about country, we must admit that we wondered whether you were speaking about the same country that we live in. The same country that has developed more in the last 9 years than in all the years prior, since independence. The same country whose economy has defied odds to bounce back resoundingly after the COVID pandemic. In fact, we imagine that if the country were to speak, it would be in disbelief about the things you said about it. And it would borrow from the words of Socrates, which he said when he was put on trial. Socrates chastised his accusers for being pretenders, public figures who give the impression of telling the truth, all the while knowing that their words are lies. Socrates even asked his fellow citizens, the Athenians, how it was that they had been so affected by his accusers. But he also added that listening to his accusers, they also made him almost forget who he was. So persuasively did they speak, and yet they have hardly uttered a word of truth. Dear sir, is it possible that you are being a political vulture? That you are waiting for William Ruto to collapse under ICC and you are waiting to gobble him up? Is it possible that you joined William Ruto because he will not be on the ballot? And if he is not, then you will be. Maybe you recognize that a man by the name of Paul Gisheru, who went to school with William Ruto, did not wake up one morning on a whim and decide to take himself to the ICC. Maybe you also recognize that Judge Maria Samba also had a role in the initial investigations after 2008, and that this is an improbable coincidence, almost like a prosecutor becoming a judge in the same matter. You may also have heard of what is being called the common plan, which was hatched to fight the ICC system, and that the people involved are being revealed, as well as their connections to William Ruto. In your equation, He may also have factored in the fact that there are apparently over 220,000 pages of evidence filed at the ICC. Wow! Bona Sifiwe. If that is so, and if the Paul Gicheru case is likely to start in March or sooner, it means that there is a lot that is likely to be revealed very soon. And because there are 5 months between March and August, and 1 day in politics is a long time, maybe you have considered that William Ruto may not be on the ballot after all. Being opportunistic, the opportunity here is that of inheriting his political kingdom. You supported William Ruto because you want to inherit his power base should the ICC come for him. Bravo, Mudavadi. You are now a gangster hustler. Thank you for joining us on the Media Police Post. See you next Monday.